guys
We need
with
to
the
ban
razor.
Razor.
Alright, the gyro. Other than Kunkka and Void, what was the fourth one?
Ember is a big one too.
Keeper
But
of the Light, still in a pool.
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't
the
be surprised.
Baron.
Abba, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
This might just be an Abba +1, maybe.
10 seconds.
Abba Coddle's not terrible. Coddle's not the best for his gyro. Obviously, he has that thing where, you know, he attacks the Will-O-Wisp and he's still attacking everyone else.
It's like, do they want to? I know a lot of teams like the gyro dirge. Is do they want to take the dirge away?
Yeah.
But like,
But then, once again, you have the dirge, and then Gyro can just attack the
He can attack
tombstone
the
and
tombstone.
attack everyone.
Yeah.
For people unaware, Dirge is undying.
Sorry.
Yeah, what a cool name. We're all from Dota 1.
Yeah. Even the fans.
Ooh,
Night.
Omni Knight.
I like that.
Sustain, baby. We haven't seen, I mean, we've seen a little bit of it, but we haven't seen, like, these Chen Omnis as much this tournament for sure.
True. Chen is in the pool as well.
Oh, dude, it's so grimy.
Yeah.
It's so, even if you're, like, playing, it's so boring, though, I'm sure. Like, you're just an Omni and a Chen. Like, you just stand there and heal and do nothing.
Definitely something PPD has done before.
Yes,
you know, and he
I
loves
mean,
to pick it. So.
he doesn't care about fun. He wants the W.
If you open up with Chen Omni Knight, then you're kind of worried about the control. Like your position 3 doesn't have anything, position 5, so your position 4 needs to have a low cooldown stun.
At the same time, Purification heals like half of your HP with that passive, right? They go with the Coddle.
The Coddle, yeah. It's just a super strong 5. I mean, if you have great positioning, I mean, we just saw in the very last game, like, good positioning equals, doesn't matter what heroes they have, you will get good pulls off.
I think it's good. He's always great for team fights, right? I think he works and he makes all these like popular carry heroes that much better, right? The Ember, the Troll, and even the CK that we saw.
8-second stun.
Yeah,
Is he at it? Yeah.
everything amazing. Like,
Coddle has a 100% win rate.
Yeah, we've seen in the previous series, Keeper of the Light plus a Night Stalker using the double silence as well.
That as well?
Extremely effective.
yeah, a lot of different options you do have whenever you're playing around that chakra.
Feels like Coddle, SD are definitely the 2-5 heroes that have risen to the top.
It's a perfect example of a hero that gets buffed, gets picked all the time, then they nerf him, gets forgotten into the oblivion, buff him up, instantly back into the meta.
Yeah.
I think he's a lot like a Darkseer. Like, it just, he really fluctuates
The
as a hero.
Darkseer is just dead.
He'll be back. They're going to give him something. Iron Shell 500 damage or something. Yeah,
There's
it'll
the
be good.
Dirge.
Yeah, they take the
They
dirge,
do.
the
Nice call,
Undying.
Fog. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've seen a lot of teams doing that because it's like, it gives you this great team fight, and also the Tombstone gives 1800 vision. So you're flacking, you're probably going to be hitting almost everybody with the flak around the Tombstone a lot of the time.
Yeah,
so.
Gyro is great with Undying, great against the Undying because of the Tombstone.
Also Undying on the Omni Knight lane. Omni Knight is strength based, right? So he won't hit as hard, but he will get some benefits from that. Less strength, more heals from the Purification.
Yeah, take out the Ember, the popular keeper pairing, and also, of course, Gunner's one of his more played.
And I guess Abba's just ignored, huh? Whatever.
I think Alliance could still drag it in, but
I would love to see something with Dispel on position 3 from Alliance because of the Omni Knight's Guardian Angel. I'm going to bring it up here. Brewmaster, he got some loving 50 damage on the Windwalk. The
40 damage.
40, all right.
on the Windwalk, the massive buff.
Either that or maybe Enchantress, something that can dispel GA.
Do you just want, I mean, you only want the offlane, or do you think they could pull out like an Invoker or something as well to do the dispelling?
They could, yeah.
I mean, obviously that'd be like a last pick or something, but you just want something that dispels, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've actually kind of liked Brewmaster. I know he's like a super weak hero, weak in the lane. That's why the pros don't like him and anything. But like, he's gotten buffs. He's trickling up there. You know, someone's gonna build an Ags and they're gonna be like, this is broken, but maybe not for a long time.
They need some control and some stuns coming from Alliance as well. That's why Axe was banned, I guess, by NIP too. Undying and Gyro, you have that rocket, but it's not like, it's not control. It's not.
I mean, it's control if you buy 5 Force Staffs.
Put immediately into him. It's still one of those things. It was like in one pro game. I've never seen it again.
10 seconds remaining.
It's such a waste of a force.
It really is. Like,
Yeah, well, what if someone turns to hit it and they're like, oh god, they're gonna kill it, and then you force it.
I mean, there's definitely a situation in which it will work out.
Can't you just force tap the enemy into the rocket a lot of the times too if they're hitting it? I mean,
yeah, you could.
wait a minute.
What if enemy uses a Force Staff on a rocket and it turns into a different direction?
That'd be sick.
Change.
Push it away.
They're taking some time for these 4 or 5 bands. Usually we get these flying through, but they're really thinking about which ones they want to take out here. Okay.
Bloodseeker. Does that tell us anything?
Not really. Both of these teams just love to play this Bloodseeker, and it's a hero that works super well in the mid game. And when you have an Omni Knight behind you, like, you'll just crush this Gyro and the Undying very early on.
It's another one that actually pairs with Coddle too, right? Chakra with Bloodright. Bloodright's really low
is
cooldown.
I actually saw that lane. It's super good. Coddle and Bloodseeker. It can work.
Because you can push them into it as well, right? Blinding Light, they're walking out of it, and you're just like, hey, gotcha.
You have Blinding Light with the Rupture as well, so that's pretty alright.
Definitely neat.
Yeah, but most importantly, it's player specific bans. You can see that Slark being banned out right now by NIP. You don't want to give it to Nico Baby. That's one of his favorite heroes. Actually, if you put the Gyro mid, that is.
Ooh.
Oh, Shadow Shaman.
I think we saw him play it once before yesterday, and I know it got played. I'm not sure who it was by Viber, but I mean, it's one of those heroes, right? You get tower push, you get catch, you get wave clear. Like, the hero actually has it all. Insanely high base damage.
You always point that out, Grant.
Yep, that insane base damage.
I mean,
It's true. Like, he just hits you. The only problem with Shadow Shaman was always if he gets caught out in the lane. And there we go.
There it is,
Invoker.
boy.
Hey, all right.
That's a very early invoker.
That's the Dispel. That could be the.
It is.
Is that a 4?
It could be a 4. I mean, we haven't seen it since TI, really, have we? But we saw it a lot at TI.
And it's very active in pubs.
It is.
Yeah,
I think it might be a 4. Yeah.
I think it might be a 4, right? Yeah. He also has the benefit of, like, later on, this is later on stages, but he can get Alacrity at, like, level 10.
Yeah.
And that's really good with Gyro. You pump out your full flak immediately.
I mean, Hanskin can definitely handle a position for Invokers, so why not?
Yeah, it seems a little bit like, I feel like Shadow Shaman, like, your verse Invoker, you just, like, crush him, right? Like, Shadow Shaman, how do you trade with in Shadow Shaman as Invoker support?
You probably don't.
You probably don't.
Probably go to the other lane.
I think now they need something with a stance, somehow to initiate a team fight. Otherwise, you're just going to be relying on counter-initiating. There's still Centaur in the pool. There's Sanking in the pool.
Yeah.
There's a Baden in the pool. Can't he initiate by just running in?
He good. It works.
It's the story of the tournament, story of the meta. Just pick
People who can run in. Yeah.
pick a fat offlaner, a Legion Commander or an Abaddon and just run into them. Definitely could work.
So you got to commit one of your cores here now. I assume they'll take Skeeter's hero here. But what looks good?
Here, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm just looking at pairings with the Coddle, right? Like this. I mean, he said he doesn't like the CK anymore.
Yes.
Troll is one of the really popular ones. It's decent versus Gyro.
Now that's a popular one with Coddle.
That's one of the oldest school ones.
Yeah.
Oh, and that might throw a little bit of a mix here now, because right, like who plays the Bristle? Like 33 loves that hero, but they could really move it around to a lot of different places.
And these three heroes
It's on
do
NIP.
nothing.
33 is on a different team now.
Sorry, apologies.
Forgiven.
It's kind of
But I mean,
confusing.
well, the concept
It's
of it, it's an
Skeeter.
off laner,
Yes.
it's also a safe laner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be Skeeter. I've seen it.
Yeah.
He plays it a lot. It's his MMR hero, I think.
And you have Chakra Magic with it, just constantly using that spray.
You
Is
def-
OD Gyro in Invoker 4 a bit too greedy? Because OD looking really good against BB and Omni.
It sounds pretty great, especially you don't really have this wave. What if they just push with Shadow, Shaman Wards, and a Bristleback? Like, how do you wave clear and get away from them if you have those?
And you have to be careful with that last ban. There's 3 heroes right now, right off the bat, that work well versus OD. And that could fit the lineup of NIP. Like you would have Lina, you would have Puck, you would have Pagna as well. But OD could work. Also, when it comes to Bristleback, yeah, he has Kotl with the Chakra Magic, but there is this most likely position for Invoker, right? So you will have the EMP to work with Bristle, and
So
the one thing that this hero hates is losing mana. There we go.
There's the
Someone
catch.
to run in.
Yeah, the catch and something to run in. It covers both bases there.
Still no stuns though. That's kind of problematic. You have Cold Snap, obviously.
Cold Snap and Rocket, too, you know, real reliable stuns there.
Gives him a save.
Duel
with
is
the-
kind of a stun, but
Yeah. Gives him a save for the Gyro now versus the Shadow Shaman, who's like the majority of the disable on the side of
Sure.
NIP, right? Like that's all, they're only disabled too. He can just, if he grabs somebody, it just gets dispelled. So that could be a potential case.
It feels like before this Gyro gets items, though, you're going to be missing a lot of damage, right? You have an Undying position, we assume position for Invoker,
Yeah, they
and a
keep flip-flopping.
Legion.
They could still
they
trick
could.
us up and put that Invoker in the mid lane.
Legion needs the save, as you mentioned, for the Gyro's rocket, but also turns the bristle back around, so he's going to get the full damage. But where's the damage going to come from? I don't think they have enough right now, especially with Omni Knight and Keeper of the Light just sitting behind him.
Yeah, and if this Invoker is that position 4, right, you're usually quas-waxed. You're running around with an urn, perhaps a vessel at some point.
Yeah.
After a long time, you get that Agonist. You don't have as many resources as a core, obviously, so that damage isn't coming from some Sunstrike and Meatball.
What's the gotcha pick from Alliance? They don't even get last pick, so it's hard to have one, obviously, but trying to look, what is good here? You can't even do Brood, obviously.
Viper looked really good, right? The break.
That's
It's a good ban.
And it's Fata
That is.
picking a Viper, that could be a classic.
Yep.
Yeah, Viper would be good, why not, versus the Bristle.
Because he's
No,
banned.
they took it out.
They banned it? What is bad? And
What
the
about
Meatball.
the limp TA? They don't have the best way. I mean, you have a Bristle, but besides that, Omni, Coddle aren't that good versus TA. It's a limp classic.
Limp Tiny is
You
also
have,
a classic.
I think either though, you need damage. You actually need some sort of just crazy damage, which I think both those are pretty good at. Good thinking.
I'm just not too sure for their draft just looks a bit weird because they have no like stuns, right? They have this like Invoker and stuff, which it does apply stun, sure, like Tornado and Cold Snap, but it's just different.
Oh, Death Prophet.
Something to group up around. I mean, Gyro, Death Prophet. It's one of those you just like run down a lane, they pop ultis.
No,
it's pretty hard to fight in.
It's also a hero that you don't have to last pick, can stand up against almost any midder, so...
Fog, you look a little upset about that.
No, I don't. I'm curious because it's just like they have a lot of ways. Like if they group up and they just start going, like they have a lot of team fight right now.
They do.
This is the hero that they needed. Group up and force them to fight. That this is the best hero in the game. Like I'm gonna pop the ulti, we take the tower, we go into Roche pit, but it's a Dead Prophet into Omni Knight, so I'm kind of worried about that.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. The GA is gonna mess with her. Also, they have one save, and that's the Legion Commander.
It's tough. So
Well, they have heals too, right? They have the Undying heal as well. At least the Soul Rip
A
is
little
something.
bit of Soul Rip.
It's a little bit of
It's
something.
something, yeah.
I think something like Lina, Queen of Pain, maybe Shaft. Yeah.
All right, Swagger Fiend, last
that's a
pick.
classic.
Dude, the
counter to Death
22
Prophet.
SF,
Yeah.
that is you literally ask your middle player what they want. And
And we see this matchup a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, not a lot, but like when we see Death Prophet, we see the Shadow Fiend start trickling back a bunch of times because you can never get siphons off. You just get raised.
Yeah. What are we thinking? Who do we favor now that we've seen the draft? I see everybody being very pensive.
I'm just thinking about this Shadowfin. We saw one today, and I'm not convinced. There's a reason why this hero was not so popular even during TI. Nothing has changed since then. Not too much in the meta in general, and it always feels like he needs one more item to be as efficient as other midders. So I'm actually liking the Alliance pick more.
I'm actually gonna go with NIP because I think when it's a Shadow Fiend alone, it's one thing, but he's gonna have the Heavenly Grace a lot of the time. So I feel like that actually usually it's like SF needs BKB or he's like kind of just screwed a lot of times. But I feel like maybe the Omni might be enough, maybe just a little bit to bail him out. I'm gonna go for it.
I'm thinking about the whole strategy, and I have to go with Fog as well. I think Omni Knight is going to work really well versus the Dead Prophet as well. You have the SF to deal with her in the lane, and like they just won't be able
my
to group
friend,
up again.
you are correct. I know Lacoste here. He's one of the biggest European fanboys I know, but it doesn't matter. Let's go, NA Dota, baby. They're going to win. You've got 3 Americans, 2 honorary Americans, Viver and Skeeter. That shit's easy, baby.
I could not have said it any better. I know I promised you a surprise, and we do have a surprise. So let's find out who's joined, who OD Pixel is joined by.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the 2-time TI winners, OGs, two of the beautiful boys from OG, No-Tail and Seb will be here for this series. Great series as well, NIP versus Alliance. Should be a fun one, lads. We've got the heroes out. We've got some Gyro and Dyings on one side and SF coming out as the final pick on the other.
Yeah, I mean, personal opinion is that Undying this game is not going to work. So I really like what I see from NIP, the way they responded in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, because Undying's been a hero that a lot of people are picking, but the win rate's not been too great with it. So what is it about this hero you think that teams are being drawn towards? Why are a lot of teams trying to make the Undying work?
It's mostly a laning thing, often. You're just trying to enable a carry, a carry like Gyrocopter, for instance. You really want him to get a head start so that he can, keep pressuring the offlaner, keep making rotations, hit his timings. Undying's going to help that. And then he's just going to buy wards.
He's going to buy wards.
Essentially. I mean, I don't know. What do you do when you play Undying? You're just buying some wards?
Quick buy boots and Dream and just no.
Okay, there's one use for Undying when you play against Alch and you want to, feed the Alchemist on MMR and you just give him the, kill the zombies. That's good. That's one of the uses, but yeah.
Double Tombstone when you get, mega value.
I like Undying. I think it can work sometimes. I mean, this game is probably not the easiest Undying game. Rasta is also considered as an Undying counter, just because he's able to trade more effectively as him, and there's very few support heroes that can do that.
Yeah, it's also the whole Rasta Wars versus Tombstone.
Yeah.
It's very nice. You drop some Rasta Wars, and they fight each other, and the Rasta Wars is really good against the Tombstone. I will say, I really like the Death Prophet pick coming out from Alliance. I think his silence is a great response to Omni Knight. It's one of the few ways to maybe fight into it, but yeah, overall, I mean, we've been seeing some Coddle as well here. The Will-O-Wisp, very strong T-fighting tool, and Gyrocopter, I guess, deals with it pretty nicely. But other than that, Coddle, very good hero. Coddle Bristol combo.
Coddle's very hot right now.
Is that a combo?
Yeah, it sounds really good. Very low cooldown on both Omni spells. Very interesting team fight potential.
Oh man.
Are going to be able to get themselves the boundary in here. And I'm looking at some of the players. I sort of want to ask you guys about your opinions on some of the, it feels like newer faces like Nico Baby, right? This guy, he's been hitting off big time. Alliance obviously making it to the major. They look great in the qualifier. He's been having some star-studded performances on the carry role. And for you guys as a team that obviously played, in the same tournament back in TI with him, was this a guy that you always like, he's got a lot of potential? Like, did you ever feel that this man could step up to do something great?
I mean, he's very hard. He's a great worker, for sure. I mean, he went to Southeast Asia to play there. He was playing in Europe before, so that already tells a lot about the motivation of the guy. And, couple that with some potential and, a lot of skill and talent, this is what you get. So, yeah, no, definitely a very good player and a player to look out for this season.
Lightning Light level 1, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. We haven't done so much Dota since TI, as in, as the official games. We do our watching, of course. The season is just starting. So it's really exciting to see these players and see the new teams that are forming and how much motivation that there still is for the game. Yeah. Nico Baby.
I'm watching this LC lane against Bristol and I'm thinking to myself, it would be good if you could just remove the Bristol stacks with pressy attack, but unfortunately you can't. So it's a pretty should be a pretty good lane for the Bristol. It's going to be hard to get him pressured, and this is a very skilled matchup actually. DPSF, from my understanding at least, it can go both ways, depending on how the first levels and first creep waves go. This is very crucial. What's going on right now for them?
So if you win the region war in some of these matchups, like when both heroes have a lot of spam, snipe the courier, get the bottle first, all these small things, they really matter.
Yeah. Universe. I'm a Universe fan.
Yeah, man. I was just talking about it before back there. I was like, all poggers seeing Universe on camera is so nice.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, what run is it going to be? Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
that is mean. Just come on.
Talking about how the region really matters. Oh,
all right.
Nice. All right. Salvaged.
Certain dominance. He has a lot of region. He's actually doing fine. No problems here.
Wow. I would have done the Crib Swarm to threaten the guy.
Yeah.
Piss off,
Woke up to him. It's funny how SF is slowly making a comeback. I think the Raze build, obviously, with the Mango Spam that probably Sumail made popular. Very good way to enable SF back to the middle lane.
I was skilling Raze level 1 on Shadow Fiend and Heroes of New Earth.
All right. So it was you the entire time.
Before the trend, you knew what's up.
Just saying.
So if Sumail's listening, it was Johan in another game. I don't know if that's a fair claim, but we can try.
I think he must have been like 10 years old at the time.
All right, and you can already see how the Rasta is really enabling that lane, because this Omni Knight will not be able to touch any creeps if it wasn't for the Rasta, really forcing the Undying away from him. Lanes are going really well for NIP at the moment.
Oh yeah, for sure. All three cores having a good start. Yeah, only one little falling behind is that gyro for Alliance on top. Pressure certainly being felt. In fact, a bit of an attempt here on Nico Baby with the grab. Again, just forcing him away from the wave, making sure Universe has got all that space.
Yeah, this is what can be really annoying. This Rasta with boots versus Undying, it's like Sebastian said, you can trade really well. It can be annoying. Oh.
He has a fair fire still. Yeah.
If he gets a... Oh, he's good. South prepared as well. He's going to be out of mana for this lane.
He has a medallion queued up already. That's a...
If you had to blame something here, Seb, what would you blame if you're Bristol back?
If I had to blame something, you always blame your position 5, like for something. I don't know, just check the wards or something. Like be like ward the wards.
Can you pull?
Yeah, like, can you be pulling or something? No, but I mean, it's funny how this Call of Bristol used to be an off-lane lane, right? And now they're playing the safe lane, and it's fine. This is what's great about Dota, how things like constantly change. Very, very demanding game.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Coddle's good blinding light level 1 with just playing the lane out. Yeah, it's a lot of brawling.
So what they do now is they have this blinding light, like I think it's 14 seconds cooldown, and then they shackle themselves so that they can keep, like the trading is unbelievable how efficient it is for Coddle to trade with people.
I think it's going to get much better with the level 2 shock. Yeah, so level 2 shocker, you're going to get the Bristol W, it's just going to go off now.
Oh. He hasn't skilled Goo yet on Bristol. I guess you don't want to do it against President. Oh, he did actually.
You always want to skill Goo.
Yeah.
But I think you want to wait level 3 Coddle. I think this is their timing.
This lane is very strong.
Just need boots.
Lions are, by the looks of it, going to be able to secure all 4 bounty runes though. As NIP
just called GG.
Not quite positioned to contest them.
Maybe a little bit of toxicity going on now. It's funny, I was watching PPD draft against Fada, and like there's history to that because they were playing together last TI and obviously didn't have the success they expected. So yeah, always funny to see these rivalries. Like I don't mean like bad rivalry, you know, like healthy rivalry build up. When you have that common history and then you end up competing against each other, so it makes these games just even more interesting to watch.
Especially in the drafting part, I think. I mean, now you have, like you said, Fada was playing in PPD's team before, or they were playing with each other before. So they're in each other's heads.
It's like, let me show you how to draft, man. Am I ever going to show you how to draft?
Are you
That's not going to
show me how to draft?
That's never going to happen. I'm happy you're drafting my hero for the end of times.
I mean, if we're talking about Fada, of course, as well, are you guys surprised that he's sort of been able to slip quite nicely into this new position that he's taken on as a player?
No, not really. I mean, he was always a very like smart player when it comes to, you know, understanding the game and the bigger picture. I mean, I played with him on a team, what was it, 6 years ago now, and like, he was already that kind of guy back then. Like
very slow game, by the way. Think of it, 6 minutes, no kills.
No kills.
Yeah.
We see a rotation coming from the Invoker. He's gonna look. But yeah, Fada I think is now a player who's showing that he cares about winning more than other stuff. You know, he's here playing Undying against Boots Rasta in a very
hard game. Very hard kill. I don't know if he has the W skill on Omni. He probably should have it. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Very, very hard kill. Like this is. I mean, they picked the Invoker into the Omni, which is pretty. ALW, all good. Nothing's gonna happen here. Nothing's gonna happen.
They already have mana boost and they have a Coddle in the team.
Okay, never mind. DB's here. I lied.
Oh yeah, Lim. See if we can finish any of this off. Stick charges and a heal will be there for Universe.
Okay.
So he's more than fine to back away. So we're going to kill out of this, but could get a good amount of pressure onto this tier 1.
So let's see how. It's interesting to see when a mid laner makes a rotation like this. Exactly, what SF decides to do. He has a couple of choices, right? He can push mid in and pressure the mid tower. He can make this rotation that he's doing right now, try to punish the overextensions.
Fada very deep here. Will pay with his life as they'll take him down. Gunner's going to try and focus on pushing them off the tower, but will be unsuccessful.
Wow.
PBD does get the deny though. Nice snipe from the call.
Tip him?
I mean,
that's a tip, man.
Wow, that was when you deny a tower against DP ulti running with Coddle, you're a boss.
With Coddle, man.
You're a boss.
But that was first blood.
That was.
Yeah.
7 minutes in. As you said, quite a slow-paced start from both of these teams. NIP getting a kill, but on the other hand, Alliance getting a tower.
Value the word.
They give so much these days, man, these words.
Yeah. Back in my day.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder what he's gonna build on SF like after the treads. If he's gonna go damage or if he's gonna like play more like of this spellcasting. It's a very interesting hero. Like there's so many routes you can go with this hero. I think it's very undiscovered yet. We've seen an SF like earlier today, like with the, you know, the kind of Dragonlance BKB or whatever you got, like Sanjay Yasha, right click kind of build.
You also saw the 4-step, right?
Yeah. That's interesting what people do with this. Yeah.
Oh.
Just troubles.
Maybe, has he got any sort of back? I mean, a hand scan is coming in from the side.
Yeah, he's good. He has Tornado. All good.
Yeah, there's a lot of spam for just some mana boots. And yeah, Gyro really is a hero that doesn't like this. Shrine's up. Should be fine, but he's feeling the pressure. He's going to get his 6 and he's ready to fight if something happens. With the top tower being dead for Alliance, I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't feel like they're at a stage where they can use it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what their time to fight is going to be this game. It just feels so hard to fight. Like LC Invoker, Gyro, they rely so much on this DP and Gyro dealing a lot of damage in the fight.
Oh, they do.
Versus this Coddle Bristol Omni, I think it's going to be hard.
They're going to have to play a slower game, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Try to get Gyro really strong.
Yes, I think so.
They're going to fight through him, but this DP is going to be left without a purpose for quite some time.
I think if they get a really good silence on Omni, that's a good fight condition. Yeah. If they get the silence on Omni and get on top of him and kill him.
Well, I'm going to dive in past the tower 33. He's got the setup with the duel straight away onto the SF. Is there any help in time? There isn't. As you said, catching Universe out with that silence. Slim making sure that backup was not inbound. If they take down the SF 33.
Oh, that guy's
skill build. Look at the skill build. Yeah, nice. Who did that?
Yeah, I've seen that skill build before, right?
Did he pay you for this?
I don't get royalties. I don't get it.
You're getting royalties?
No.
A nice little snipe up top as well.
They shamelessly steal the builds.
Wow. Okay, so tactical plays by Alliance, really collapsing. This is really, really nice. Like a lot of pressure mid, huge win. This is more than just a couple kills.
And to give like a little bit more like insight and depth to how some of these teams might be thinking, you could see how it was timed, right? It was timed right before the bounty runes. And usually, what are you talking about when it's 950? You talk about the bounty runes, right? And you might lose focus on what's going to happen on the mid tower and the mid lane. Maybe you're spread out, maybe you're not in position, and they take advantage of this. Obviously, that was well worth it, especially because Nip tried to react and they dropped the bounty runes chasing. So that was a double win for Alliance. Very smart play and rotations.
Yeah, getting all 8 bounty runes so far from the 5 and 10 minute mark.
Right, it's been 8. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
got every single one.
It's starting to matter actually.
See 33. And the mid does have the duel once again, but Alliance have fallen back, split back up. Make sure they've got someone present in each and every lane.
I'm surprised why, like I don't understand why Bristol's so far behind. I don't get it. Like he had a free game. Maybe that's the weakness of Bristol's safe lane, where you can't maximize farm as much as you would on the off lane. You know, stack ancients and whatnot. Yeah, this guy is gone.
No, you're supposed to be able to get really big on the bottom lane if you can stack the big camp. If you can stack the big camp, you can get really big.
I guess LC did not let him get away with it.
Yeah, I mean the bottom lane, I don't think it was going as well as I would have hoped with the Coddle. I don't really know how that lane plays out.
Let's see what they can do to Fighter. He's going to drop down the tombstone. Does get Hex, missiles out onto Biver.
Yeah, he's going to die on Biver.
Universe is going to be the main focus from Nico Baby. 33's in with the duel. The lockdown's there to shut Universe out. Chase is on with the missile connecting onto Biver. Skid is trying to keep them off him, but Fighter's going to stay on top of the Shaman. He'll turn with a Hex, but 33, Nico Baby and Hatchkin are chasing them down, running them over. Double kill for Nico Baby. They'll look to the high. Holstab's there. Will-O-Wisp is down. PPD trying to set up with a turnaround. He's got the control. The raises are out for Gunner. They'll pick up a couple. Both Fighter and Nico Baby will be punished as Alliance get 2-3 kills, but do dive a little far. They're going up towards the shrine, and NIP are there in time to turn it around.
Yeah, that way was questionable. So, if you can't hit a raise and then the neutral creep kills the Undying, this is what happened. This is why I get your creep. PPD is probably feeling like he has to step up.
Yeah. Okay, there's a quick Rust Wars mid. This is a very big deal. They can stack the mid tower from this. Let's see if it's enough damage. Blind him. Blind him. They don't get the full tower. Oh, they'll actually pay for this.
Good setup here with the Tornado, but focusing on taking out the wards first.
So wards on cooldown, that's also a deal. He didn't have 6 for the top fight. I don't think they could have fought back, but yeah, they could have done the wards versus the Tombstone perhaps if they committed. Universe dying first is going to be a big condition. I think if Radiant get in a position where they don't feel like they can frontline, or Omni Knight keeps getting caught or nobody protects him, this is when it can get really hard. Like this Coddle needs to be in the right place at the right time, uses Will-O-Wisp, like they need to drop the things at the same time. This is how Nip really needs to fight this game.
I like the approach of 33 to go for the crest rush. you don't want to buy Blink in this game because no matter what, you're going to have to play through your gyro frontlining for you. It doesn't make sense to start the fight because, yeah, that's not how the fights are going to be taken this game. So it's a pretty good build. We'll see if it works out. He looks to be doing fine now, but as we said in the beginning, it doesn't change that like Radiant will be like much stronger at some point in this game, and Dire will have to respect it until this guy gets to where he needs to be.
Something funny to note is DP1 Treads, they also have this gyrocopter, and then they have the whole LC Invoker combo with the Alacrity and the W.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't work versus the Will-O-Wisp stun, but if you get those spells on one guy and the stun is over on Will-O-Wisp, it dies. It dies before the next charge. And I feel like that will actually come into play this game. I mean, it's a nice thing to have when you buff one hero that gets really, really strong.
They can make gyro like raid bust.
Exactly.
Easily.
Yeah. He's just going to mow through everything. The Rasta Horse, the Will-O-Wisp, the whole shebang. And
that could be,
yeah.
That'll be pretty nice.
So, Lion's doing pretty well. Let's see if Universe is falling pretty far behind.
I'm going to run straight into this one here. Skeeter and Biver heading up towards the High Ground Alliance. We're there, ready and waiting as they'll take down one. Wards have been dropped as well for this. To no avail as they won't accomplish anything here. And up maybe with the backup. The Connor and Universe. Their hits turn things around with the jewels out. DA's there. Universe with the save, keeping Skeeter alive for now. They'll kite 33 up and now can turn back in, laying up the goo onto the LC. Gunner's trying to chase down Hanscom and Limp. He's got the Cyphers going. Gunner, he's falling low, gets the Red Crim off in a couple of raises, but it's not enough to kill off Limp. They found 33, maybe Universe and Skeeter can go for more. PPD with the knockback, grabbing Limp back into the reaches of Skeeter and Universe. Limp will fall. Nico Baby, can he clean up these last threes? Focusing Universe, another tornado out from Hanscom, but Skeeter, he's being healed up by the Heavenly Grace. They'll surround him. EMP will burn the mana and the life of the Bristle. It's down to Uni and PPD to stand together, the two old friends, to try and turn this. Fado, Nico and Hanscom are chasing. Biver back in the action. Hanscom will back away down the tree line.
Back.
A good skirmish there between the sides. It looked like it was going to be all Alliance, but NIP, they were able to find some trades, getting Limp and 33 out of that.
That was pretty cool sequence. They need to play together a little bit more, the Omni and the Bristle, ideally, so that they can, you know, maximize a bit the cooldowns that Omni has.
It's also sad the Rasta dies right away, so you see when they wanted to use all their spells, the Will-O-Wisp, everything collapses. Like, what if they catch one guy while the rest are running out of Will-O-Wisp? Everything.
DP Silence is owning. Like, it completely crushed this fight. Like, SF was about to pop the LC, the fight would have been so much different. The Silence is really owning. They don't really have tools to get rid of it, unfortunately. I mean, they have the Heavenly Grace, but the problem is it's usually already casted. So, yeah, pretty tricky to deal with the Silence yet.
I think if Bristle and Shafin become better frontliners so that the DP can't just run in and get that Silence, this is when it gets trickier for Dire.
The thing is, yeah, as you said, I mean, the rest is alive. DP is just gonna die. That guy's gone.
Should be some free dual damage for 33.
33 killing PPD. That's some Monkais.
Continue to rack up the damage, plus 30 now in the Legion. Still very close in the net worth. It may be 10-4, but as it seems, NIP, despite as well losing that first 2 rounds of bounty runes, are keeping up in the farm.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm not playing this and dying.
Well, he's maxing Sorip.
Yeah,
Okay,
they buffed it.
Okay, yeah.
They buffed the spell.
Interesting. It's a pretty strong spell. Undying ulti is what scares me. Like, Undying ulti is so strong.
If it works. I mean, even right now, he has this little bit of armor. He's just gonna die in 1 second to a Bristle back. Like, he can't.
Yeah.
If you have enough items, if you have the buckler at the right time and everything, and then you click the ulti and run in fights, this
Maybe I should be playing Undying position today.
Yeah.
So you get the value out of the ulti.
Yeah,
that would be pretty good.
It's really cool if you get the transitioning Undying, which just has a perfect start, and then you can't fight. That's a thing.
Oh, they
There
finally
we go,
get
mid tower again. Oh, they're gonna defend it.
Are they?
Yeah.
The Lance won't give them anything.
Nope.
Ah, they're gonna force it.
Get off my lawn.
SNY. I like he's playing with the Heavenly Grace. I think it's cool. They're gonna get it. I don't think they can do much about it.
I'll see if they can get maybe a tower and an eye, but yeah, trap there onto Anscan. He won't have a chance in this fight, but he's TP'd in, but they are more than ready to kill him off in a matter of seconds.
Oh, Mega Lulu.
They could go Roche. I mean, they can Roche so quickly, Radiant. Are they going to decide to go for it?
But they're respawning soon. I mean, there's not going to be a tombstone, but there's going to be, you know, the potential team fight called, I mean, cooldown was used, but DP.
I think you take that fight. I mean, the Will-O-Wisp and in the Roche area, it's going to be very tricky for Dire to just run in.
Do they sustain? Doesn't Roche like hit them down a bit? I know they have
I think it dies really quickly, like with you and SF.
And they should man up and do it.
I think they have to. I mean, the timing that we talked about, we're in it now.
I mean, if you shout loud enough.
Who are we rooting for? Yeah. We'll see who's going Axe. I like the SMY from SF playing with the Heavenly Grace. I like that he's not going BKB. Oh, okay, no, please don't buy the Shadow Blade. Don't do that.
Who's playing Shadow Blade?
SF.
Oh.
Why would you do that? Shadow Blade for what? They're gonna have to keep playing together anyway. I don't see the Silver Edge either. We'll see. He'll prove us strong.
I mean, so what is it that you don't like about getting the Invis?
It's like you want to keep, you know, he's going to be the front line for his team. Yeah. Especially because, you know, Bristle bought the medallion that he's going to put on SF and whatnot. SF needs to keep growing, you know, so that he can keep kind of protecting his team in a way. You know, allow Rasta to position himself, allow Omni to position himself.
I mean, the SMY is a cool step. I think next item, like, I mean, if you don't know what to buy, like, go into the shop and think some Scotties or ACs or what do I know, like something that just buffs the Omni Knight buffing you. Shadow Blade, like you're...
So what happens is, if SF is Shadow Blading around, he's not doing his job. Rasta's gonna get jumped, you know what I mean? Like he's kind of breaking the entire purpose of their lineup. So it's a very selfish choice that is gonna hit him, like bite him back. But maybe he's just trolling with the quick buy. A lot of players do that.
Maybe you're just not listening to Electric by Flying Stars or whatever.
Or maybe it's the new meta.
Yeah.
I like that they're forcing this. This is very good.
20 minutes in, dropping the wards on the high ground. See what they can do to try and slow things down. Solar Crest complete now for the Bristle back. Lions trying to have a bit of a poke, seeing if they can get something out of this. They're chasing NIP back.
They have great wards.
See, NIP do have the high ground.
Very scary position for Lions, very scary.
Oh, they're just going in? Oh,
drop the tombstone. They've got the vision here, silence out of the Fury. Then the Will-O-Wisp will be dropped by PPD, called out onto Gunner. But a Heavenly Grace and the healer from Universe keeps Gunner in fighting shape as he'll back off for now. Getting away from Nico, baby. As Nico moves in with the flag cannon. The MP drops down. They're going to lose a fair bit of mana, but it's Skeeter and Universe don't matter. The GA is there in time now. Gunner potentially trying to cover the Requiem. He needs to help out his Bristle. The silence making sure that there's no backup to keep Skeeter safe as NIP, they've lost the two of them. And Alliance, they're ready to try and chase down a third. PPD left behind, double kill for Nico Baby. As Alliance taking a fight that looked to be a difficult one from the low ground, but with the tombstone drop, they were free to head straight in.
There was a big communication in NIP's vocal system. You could see, like, they decided that they wanted to fight and they kept their high ground. And the problem is somebody made the call that DP popped ulti and that they could just disengage and that they didn't have to fight it, you know, which is kind of true. But then half of them stayed, half of them backed off. Like you can see, here they want to fight. They dropped the Will-O-Wisp, and when DP is going to pop ulti, they're going to start running away. Now they're talking about like just disengaging and like letting DP waste ulti.
I do think also though that they can't run into the Will-O-Wisp. I think the Tombstone's a huge problem.
Yeah.
They don't have the Rasta Wards. I do think it's a mistake to begin with to maybe push with the Rasta Wars. Like this is what can happen. Tombstone becomes really good in the game if you don't have it. They don't have any attacks to kill it. They can't run into this fight. I think it's going to be a bad fight. I mean, maybe they win it, but it's close.
That's rough. There's a very bad sequence of events for them because this is when Alliance, they're very happy with the state of the game now, and the longer this keeps going, the better it gets for them.
Them nearly finishing off his next big item, the Aghanim's. As we did see there as well, Gunnar had indeed changed his quick buy. He's now got the Scardy queued up, so continuing to just build the stats right. Well, this drums S and Y, you're going to have all stats around the block.
That's good.
Captains being killed, ex-captains, ex-teammates. No tips.
No tips.
That's really sad.
I was going to say, he's given up quite a bit of dual damage now to 33. He's found him a fair few times as the Legion. Yeah,
the
3K lead now from us.
Yeah, that vessel is very deadly for the Bristle. Once Omni has his cooldown on W, yeah, he's gonna have to be patient with the vessel usage, but potentially very annoying item. I think he's, let's see, yeah, he just got the Greaves. Okay, that's cool. I don't think this game is like done by any means. Like it's still very close. Like Radiant can bring it back. They have to take like some smart fights, better than the last one. They definitely have to man up. Like this retreating together, this doesn't work. Like it's very tricky to pull out.
And this game as well, especially with sort of Gunner's build, right? Is the Heavenly Grace enough on its own to say I don't want to get a BKB or a Yules against sort of the silences and even sort of the missiles that Nico Baby's been throwing down every time onto the SF? Is it cool to sort of not buy these defensive items as the SF this game?
I think so.
I don't think you should buy BKB. I think the best defensive item is the Satanic plus something. It can be the Satanic Butterfly, or it can also be the Scotty plus one item. Cool.
Here we go, around the pit. Limp's going to drop down the Exorcism and go for the Silence Universe, trying to turn things up, get the Requiem off, but all checked down. Gunner will pick up the Aegis. GA's pop, but Gunner dies to once. They've got the Hex down onto Limp. Limp now backing away. Bristle down to half health. 33's there with the control. Onto Skeeto's beating the Bristle down the front. Bristle's dead, and now they can chase for more. Alliance Gunner, he's being focused. The Will-O-Wisp from PPD does hold them back a little bit. He'll get back over towards the Shrine. We'll see if Alliance want to continue the chase. They know there's a no Bristle for 40 seconds. Hansken gets the connection onto PPD. Nico Baby staying on top of Gunner. Another Heavenly Grace from Universe, keeping Gunner a little bit safe. They're trying to chase. They're trying to dive past the tier 2s. They've taken down Universe. They've taken down PPD. Missile connects onto Gunner. Alliance don't get a 4 as they run over NIP.
I mean, they're too strong now. This Gyro's too strong. I mean, he has Axe, Maelstrom. DP has Axe too. There's too much damage. The Omni spells, they don't cut it anymore. SF can't hold his ground, neither can Bristle.
I feel like it didn't really come together. The Bristle committed to also help the SF. One can argue maybe the Bristle can go his own item build. Like if one of the two goes BKB, Omni helps the other. You have two cores that you need to deal with. We just saw the Gyro chase the SF forever, and the SF couldn't man up even though the Omni put so much shit on him. They either missed, I mean, it looks hard, right? They ran into the Requiem. It was almost a perfect fight for Nip in many ways, but it still didn't work. Big credit to 3-3, sneaking behind the Roche Pit, getting a duel on Bristol. Stuff like this is what really, I mean, that's outplaying them, or outplaying them. That's playing really well and making a very strong play.
What's cool about LC versus Bristle, this duel is really, really annoying for Bristleback. Obviously, can't turn.
So smart.
You just die.
So smart.
He's been having a great show so far.
That's why they picked him?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know when they picked it.
They picked it right after.
Did they?
Yeah.
There's that. There's the. I mean, obviously, it's a very good press to attack game. You know, Blinding Light, Goo.
I mean, he's
also disables.
He's also always been a LC player.
Yeah, it's a nice hero, LC. Very cool. Undervalued. Not anymore, maybe. Before TI, kind of, but.
I mean, so for NIP now being 10k behind, what's sort of their best play at the moment? Are you sort of looking at an item that any of these cores are close to finishing off that could really help turn things around in the fight? Is there anything that's severely lacking that could make things a bit different?
Not sure. What do you think, Johan?
I think it's time to invest in some real estate and try to make your money back. Get rich.
It's looking rough, honestly. I don't think.
They have to win a fight perfect conditions. I think they have to look for their own conditions, like we're talking about how they need to silence Omni Knight. But Radiant kind of have to agree on something. Oh boy.
Alliance, they're ready to take this fight. Charging in, Limbs there with the wraparound silence down to them. Will-O-Wisp will be dropped. GA's out. Gunner's going to start trying to turn and punch into Limb. But Limb, he's got all the siphons going. He's healing up an awful lot. They are on top of him though. He'll use up. He's still alive at the moment. Limb healing up their Hex. They've killed him off. They've killed more. Can they get more here? NIP. They're trying their best to stay alive, but they don't have to sustain. The Bristle surrounded, 3 dead, 4 dead, as Skeeter falls as well. Triple kill for Nico Baby as another lost fight for NIP. PPD will be able to TP away. They do at least take 2 cores down with them, but it's still not the fight that NIP are hunting for.
Yeah, I mean, that was all their firepower. That was all they had, and it was not even close.
The Gyro is going to be
it's a huge problem.
Big problem right now.
I mean, they did focus the DP, which was good, especially because she doesn't have items to tank yet. She's a very aggressive build with the Axe, which is obviously, I mean, a very good build. But yeah, it was good from them. They switched their focus.
Get the Arcane Rule.
I mean, look at the Gyro's freedom in this fight because DP is making so much space for him. He can like, he gets the perfect angle. They still have to focus DP. He's killing the Will-O-Wisp, and then he just like cleans house. Very scary. And I mean, he's not at his peak at all. The Gyro's gonna keep getting stronger and stronger. There's so much damage. So much damage. Exactly. That's the Gyro impression. Very good Gyro impression.
That's why I'm here, man. Sound effects.
22 to 8, I mean, 11k lead. Do things get... Oh, the babies. Having a bit of a poke of them on his own.
D-word. Oh, you can't. He needs to call out mission. Oh boy.
All right.
I'm going to try and chase back upon him. He's got a hand skin of limp.
He's gonna have to
It's all a fighter by his side. PKB's popped and now they look to turn a bit.
Good. Very good.
Well, that's a PKB charge out of the Gyro.
I mean, there's potential from this Bristle. Like, even the top fight, he was the one doing most of the damage. Maybe his Crest Pipe build, I mean, I don't know if it's like a supportive kind of build or if it's what he would go anyway. I think he has to, as you said, he has to focus on his game a little bit more this game. He can impact the team fights much more.
The Zero is a known DP counter if you just have enough attack speed, and that's it. Like, you just need enough attack speed plus some ultimate stacks, and you like kill DP in no time.
Hit her down.
But you don't have your attack speed item yourself. Like, you bought Crest and you have your pipe, you didn't buy treads. Like, you don't have any way to...
I mean, they're switching gear, right?
Really
SF is doing BKB, so I would assume Omni's gonna like graze the Bristle.
I do think it's a mistake though, but yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, what if Omni focuses on Bristle and then SF just like, I don't know, act like as a distraction?
You already have, now you have Hyperstone, which is a big bonus. I definitely, I do think you should go all X in one basket with the Shadow.
Is there going to be a set? They do get the Hex and the Lord's dropped down. Will-O-Wisp is there as well, trapping him in. The Jackals are out. They're focusing in the DP's dead. Red Grim's down. They'll turn towards Handskin. Have to go the detection. Double Dust is out. Skeeter's able to stay on top of the Invoker. Double kill for the Bristle. LC found as well. The control from for Shaman doing the work there. It's NIP, a clean fight for the first time this game. 3 heroes dead on Alliance.
Yeah, boy, give us the chat wheels. Keep them coming. Outplayed. Now what?
Played, yeah.
You know, you left my command, Farah. Now you just like, you just pay the price for it.
Peter was right, man.
Peter was right. I mean, we're gonna have to keep switching to Peter and Farah, but okay, well,
PBD. He gets a PKB charge. Now he's gonna have the heals as well.
Yeah, showcasing the golden item, always good. Make sure it works. As one said, you know, the Chinese BKB, that's the best Odin ever. The best. I mean, now they have a problem because they're gonna. I mean, isn't that a tier 3 tower at the very least?
I mean, they're gonna have a good shot of poking. There's what 2 quarters down, pretty much 20 seconds.
42.
He just walks in and dies. Vada, he's gone for 50, and suddenly they're breaking the base.
Yeah, and they have like what 50 seconds?
Yeah. Wow, that turned real fast.
And buyback.
Oh, Delta split, that was incredible.
Just hit their axe, please.
Gone up. Spin Focus does have the BKB. He's going to pop the BKB.
TP out.
Focus for the melee rack.
Doesn't get it.
Get the racks it down. BKB and the TP out. Gets gonna safely out in time. Tension will be turned towards Skinny. He has been left behind here, and he will fall because of it. The duel's there. But in a game where NIP were being held severely behind, sure, they take a few casualties, but they are actually the team to first break the base and take a melee racks.
Yeah, they also have to commit the DP ulti, which means that as soon as they're up, they're gonna have to be able to get the map back. They get PPD, but at this point, it doesn't matter.
I mean, they definitely went too far, man. They could have been smoother, or they could have even won the fight. You know, they could have focused on winning the fight. Now look at this. Oh man, Peter's dead.
Yeah, that's rough.
They just messed up big time, yo.
You're right, that's a key part of the D push. Off the map for a minute.
This is a fight they can win though, right? No DP ulti. Rasta's up. Oh, they both... Wait, what? Wasn't Omni gonna respawn?
They should have waited Rasta to get there, and then they would have just... Omni
did I see wrong, or do you have like 10 seconds left on Omni?
I think it was pretty short.
I think it was longer. It just died, right? Alright. It was longer than that. But, oops. Yeah, I don't know. Something went wrong there. That was a stressful sequence.
Yeah, this is looking a bit grim with the buybacks now. Pretty scary.
Yeah, for Alliance, if they, when they get that exorcism up once again, they're going to have that free space to push, try themselves to siege.
You could see in the river what happened is this Rasta got completely free to Hex and then Shackle after the PSG attack, and then they could just burst the DP. This is the situation the Corge, like these two guys, have to create. It's not only about their game. They have to get that.
The DP is very weak hero. They just get 2 seconds of inner here with Bristol, 1 Goo, and Solar Crest and SF. And
Yeah, she dies so fast, actually.
so fast. The Will-O-Wisp can be a very nice tool to stop the follow-up from some Invoker or LC. Break their combos.
Arcane Roar.
He got the BKB, almost has a Skadi that he's going for. I'm a bit worried about this build, even though the Skadi is a level of control, which they seem to really thrive off. If they
Also
this roster
Skadi
gets
against
to control.
the range cores. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. Plus it looks really cool, the projectile.
It actually does.
Really cool.
I think Deso looks cooler. But
That's what
that's
cool. Wish you could still do both. I remember you could do both in
Oh my God.
Dota 1 and it had like a snowflake Deso effect, right?
That's actually what you play. It actually impacts the way I pick up items. So maybe I shouldn't say it.
Yeah. And the cooler you are, the more fights you win, right?
I think you're cool too.
That's an aggressive roster. I don't necessarily like this, but here is good because they're getting a lot of vision and the fights can be really spread.
I mean, a little
Oh,
scared
God.
on Skidder, not wanting to commit the duel straight away. The Skidder will now start to retreat, limp silence onto the Omni Universe, forcing to the side to try and get himself out of the reach of it. Will-O-Wisp is down to buy some safety for the Omni, but the Omni's dead. Doesn't get a chance to get a single spell out as Universe is gone. Gonna punch the BKB, but with Alliance having the full 5-man that can chase on, Jewel there to lock down the SF, sets up for the double kill. Alliance put a stop to that pushback from NIP.
I mean, you can't do that, bro. Like,
Doesn't have TP. Just going for this now.
how do you get all this?
Please.
I would just take the tier 3 as Cuddle. Why does it just take the tier 3?
Yeah. Oh, tips are in the game.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you can't just like run away like this with Bristol and let your Omni to his own device. It doesn't work. You have to be in front of him at all times. It doesn't matter. It's just gonna get worse. Yeah, okay, that's a problem. They're gonna have to buy back SF with no souls. Omni has no buyback. They know that.
Now getting a good amount of damage done to the tier 4s here. Alliance seizing an opportunity to get closer to closing this game 1 up. As the buyback from Biver, silence out for Limp, trying to keep the mag. They let the Hex out onto the DP, trying to focus Shackles to lock him down, but the save's there from 33. They turn, duel out onto the Bristol. He's in a whole world of trouble. Skeeter on the front lines. He will fall. No buyback available for 100 seconds. Tier 4s have fallen. Alliance, they're onto the Ancient. If there's any hope for NIP, they will have Gunner back up in 5 seconds, but the Ancient falling incredibly rapid. As they're buyback there, around 1 second left. It doesn't matter, it's too late. The game over, GG is called. As NIP will not be able to hold Alliance off in this game 1. Alliance keeping the advantage for most of this game. A few rocky patches towards the ends where NIP showed they could still have some sort of a fight in them. But at the end of the day, Alliance just too far ahead.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty exciting game. Lots of team fighting after a slow start. Saw some tombstones that worked out and some aggressive roster wars, some